Shut your eyes.
Hello and welcome to the Opposition View QPR this week.
Yes.
Welcoming back my old mucker, Richard Honey, QPR fan. How are you?
Very, very good, Justin. Very good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're in a state of shock, but
We're having a day of it. We are. We're having a right old day of it.
Yeah. Don't worry. We feel your pain, but we're probably feeling it in a good way.
As we record, Watford have just officially announced that we are back into our normal situation of having three managers for the season. Something that Richard Honey here with us, joining us again after an excellent performance first time round, strangely entitling himself QPR 5, Watford 0. Maybe some indication to his prediction at the end, but we'll see about that. But something he will know about because QPR have indeed had three managers this season. We'd like to talk about a little bit about that. So, but don't forget, guys, if you are watching, look out for, he might be here, he might be not. Who knows? Where's Kev?
There he is.
He may or he may not be making an appearance. It was so subtle last time, some people didn't notice.
Now, when I sent this picture of Kev, I didn't know this was going to be an ongoing feature. I've got to be honest.
Nobody, Kev.
We will, of course, at the end of this, be making the prediction for the Complete Rubbish DNSYE Prediction League. So that's to look forward to. But as ever, first of all, we need to think about QPR, the opposition, come Saturday. Now it's going to, of course, be Chris Wilder's first game. So we'll be worrying about what's going to be happening with us.
Oh,
but
very weird.
Let's start examining, though, what's been happening with QPR. Because the last time we spoke to you, you came to Vicarage Road and basically upset the apple cart because we were quite happy winning and stuff, and you stopped that.
We let's be honest, we nicked it that day. We did okay. We were the away team, but we did nick it. And unfortunately, I've looked back at the results over this season, and do you know what? I think as a team, a general overview from my point of view is that we are flattered to deceive at the beginning of the season because we've nicked results at the beginning of the season that put us to the top of the league. We weren't playing that well, and look at the results now.
Well, let's do just that, Richard, because what we like to try to do is let's have a look at your record.
Cheer you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're here to cheer you up.
Looking at our results, please don't.
Yeah, basically, Gary Lineker for the next 24 hours will be going on a Watford have sacked another manager fest. It's our opportunity to punch downwards. There you go. Okay. So here is the home and away stats for QPR. And you are remarkable in this sense because your home and away stats are almost identical. If you draw, you will have identical home and away stats. You know, the stats that you've had so far, 17 games played at home, 5 wins, 4 draws, 8 losses. 18 games played away, 5 wins, 5 draws, 8 losses. So it'd be absolutely almost identical. If we look at that on the what this is the league that shows us on the left is if we just had a home league only, you'd be in 21st, which is kind of right down there. But mid-table for away, and you know, you getting points at us was a good indication of that. So you mentioned earlier on that you thought you were kind of nicking points, sort of getting away with it.
Look, I've written some games down here. We went to Vicarage Road.
Oh, you would mention that one.
And I was listening to the Twitter after the game, and your fans were disappointed, and I think they had every right to be. I think we nicked it. We got a 2-2 draw at Sunderland. We scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. Even the goalie scored that day.
I remember
we
that
got
game. Yep.
A lucky home win against Cardiff. Seriously lucky. That was 3-0, but it flattered to deceive. We got a lucky away win at Sheffield United. And then the rest of them results of, all right, we won a few games. But the rest of the season has been shocking, seriously bad. I mean, it's got to the point where I seriously haven't looked at the table in 2 months. I expect to lose. You know, when you feel like, oh, we're going to lose, and it's just, you know, but deep down you think you're going to win. Deep down you think you're going to win, but you tell everybody, oh, we'll probably lose. I've seriously every Saturday morning or Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning got up and thought, oh my God, I'm either going to watch this on my mate's dodgy Fire Stick and get depressed, or it's not my dodgy. I haven't got a dodgy Fire Stick.
No. We haven't.
Or I ignore it. I ignore that it's Saturday and it's football day, and I just look at the scores at 9:30 at night when my wife's saying, "Shall we watch some Love Island that I've recorded?" And let's watch Love Island. Let's watch some Love Island because I don't want to know the truth, which is that QPR have fallen through the trapdoor. And guess what? We've lost again. We've lost again. And I can't talk to my mates about it. They're texting, and I can't get involved in any conversations. So this is the first opportunity I've had to slag them off properly.
What, your mates or the QPR team?
Do you know what?
Either
I'm
or.
thinking about becoming a Watford fan.
Yes.
Oh,
Do it.
blimey, one conversion.
I couldn't do that.
Oh, trust me, we're going through America, converting them one at a time. Well, Carl's in charge of that. He basically gets them heavily drunk, discombobulated, and then basically forces yellow goods onto them. It's great, right? So let's have a quick look, because until about 3 hours ago, this plan was fucking mint. This was going to be great. I was going to be going, are you Watford in disguise? Because you've had 3 managers. You've had Michael Beale. You've had, what's his face there, Neil Critchley. And now, of course, you've got the lead singer from Jethro Tull, which is lovely.
Nice player of
he
Swan.
He loves a leather jacket, doesn't he? Bless him. I love Gareth Ainsworth. What a character.
You mentioned.
So when you look at it.
No, we get it. Well, don't think we have stopped punching downwards yet. So we thought, let's have a look. Let's have a look at QPR, because you mentioned about some wins and it got you up to the top of the table. So let's have a look at the QPR season so far, and in terms of the chart. So it was incredibly up and down, and it was actually kind of match game 6 where you came to Watford. You got a win there, and you did get a few wins. And it seems to be that old Michael Beale got you up to the top, so much so that then, because I've got far too much time on my hands, I overlaid the results with your managers. Yeah. How much time have I got on my hands? Lots, right?
Yes.
You think that was Beale getting away with it a bit, because it looks like you were on the slide when he got the move to Rangers, but he was also linked with Wolves, wasn't he? How did it start to go wrong?
Shall I tell you a little? Let me tell you a little story. I went to Greece during this kids' half term at the end of October, and I was drinking. What was I drinking? Amaretto. I was into amaretto sours, and I was drinking these drinks all holiday. And the waiters come up to you. They love football. They're all Man United and Liverpool and Chelsea. They don't follow QPR and Watford, but they have heard of QPR and Watford and Luton and Millwall and everybody else. And they would say, oh, they come up to my little boy, who do you support? And they didn't know that he doesn't even like football, but they go, and I'd say, well, he's a QPR fan. My boy was like, Am I? I was like, yeah, you are.
Am I?
You are. And we were top of the league when I was on holiday. I was telling the waiters, well, we'll be in the Premier League next year. We'll be taking on Chelsea and Liverpool and Man United. Don't worry about that. We'll be there. We're a great team. Literally Friday night in October, they lost 3-1 or 3-0 to Birmingham away, and that was the beginning of the end for us, because we lost 5 games on the trot. He left to go to Rangers. Critchley came in, just a poor man's version of Beale, in my opinion. He came in, he didn't do very well. He's not charismatic. QPR need that Venables type manager. Didn't have any of that. And then he gets the bullet, and then we're left with Amos from Emmerdale Farm, who is worshipped by the fans for his time as a player, but I'm not convinced. I so want him to do well, but let's be honest, is he a championship manager? Really?
He's got a very one-directional approach, I think, to football, which tends to be Ainsworth ball, which is lob it very high into the floodlights, and it will land somewhere in the opposition half.
Carlos, do you know what? I'd be happy with that for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. As long as we get 2 or 3 wins, I don't care how we go about it. As long as we stay in the division. But do you know what? I'm going to depress you all even more, because
No, that's great. Carry on.
Here we go. This will make you feel better. Your team at the moment, I heard something this week which I totally agree with, and it's going to depress you badly. When we got relegated in 2016, the similarities between Watford and QPR are really similar. And the problem that you've got I hope to God you don't get the problems that we've got, because I looked at the table, like I say, and I'm really surprised to see where you are at the moment as we stand tonight in the table. I know you've got Wilder coming in, and I think he'll do a good job for you, but the similarities is really bad. And what I hope it doesn't happen to you, because next year we are going to be FFP again. We'll be points deducted and fines, I think, because unless we sell our players, we are going to be over that £39 million 3-year rolling period, because we posted losses this week of £24 million for this last season. That's one season.
Yeah.
And the only reason we're not over that now inside the 2 years, because we sold Eze for 20 million. And we haven't got a player worth 20 million at the moment. So next year, as I've been reading, we will hit that brick wall. So we're either going to get relegated this year, which I think we've got enough points on the board to not do that. And I think we'll beat you 5-0 on Saturday. I just think we'll probably get enough wins to start. Reading are going to get hammered. Did you read tonight? You probably haven't, because you've got your own problems. But Reading's all the bookies have suspended bets on Reading going down, because they're about to get hammered with points.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I think they'll go down with. So I think QPR will avoid relegation this year, but I think next year we will have to sell players. We can't buy players.
Paul Ince is going to get relegated. You must be.
I am
heartbroken.
I am heartbroken because if it's got anything, if it's got anything to do with points deductions, that's dreadful, because Paul Ince is capable of taking them down on any season without assistance.
Why don't you like him? Why don't you like him?
Mainly because he's a cunt. But other than that,
that won't make me edit. Trust me.
Fucking will on the video. Right.
Anyway, so going back to the similarities, QPR and Watford from our relegation in 2016, we came down with a huge wage bill with a load of big players on our books who you thought were brilliant. They didn't get us promoted, and we just fell. If you don't go up this year, which I'm beginning to think you won't, because you're going to have Burnley, probably Sheffield United. I don't know if you agree with that, and then it's a scrap, isn't it, just for you to get in the playoffs at the moment, let alone win the playoffs.
Yeah, I
think we don't do that. Then second year, this is your first year after relegation, isn't it? Or was it your second year? First year. You've got to put your foot on the gas next year, but you've got to remember 3 clubs are coming down with money next year and players that you're going to sell some of your players because they want to leave, not because you...
And we've mortgaged our parachute payments as well already.
Doesn't sound good, Justin. Yeah, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but you're going to follow our path. And when you look at clubs like Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, big clubs, bigger than us. Well, Sheffield Wednesday are. I don't know about it. Yeah, Ipswich probably are as well. You just think, oh my God, how difficult is it then to start relying on your youth to come through? Which you've always had a good youth system, haven't you? You do produce players.
We have done until recently.
Yeah, until recently, because you've been buying players like everybody else. So
yeah, and it was our injury crisis. One of the reasons why we are where we are. In fairness to Slaven Bilic, who's been let go today. The last couple of games were the first 2 where he sort of had the first team squad sort of back. We had a ridiculous injury crisis, which won't have helped him. But in fairness, that would have just given us fit players playing rubbish football as opposed to the other stuff that has been playing. But this last week, he had them all back, and there was absolutely no coherent plan at all. The one thing we're hoping we will get with Wilder, and with 11 games to go, because we're still only 5 points off the playoffs. Yeah. It is still feasible. Is that suddenly there will be a coherent game plan and everybody doing what we want, and also not just playing one up front all the time. Because under Slaven Bilic, he refused to play 2 up, and we needed to. Sorry, sir.
My thing with the playoffs is it generally is the team, and we've said this before. It generally is the team that comes into it in form. And you look at Middlesbrough at the moment, who are really pushing Sheffield United. Hopefully, if Wilder can turn something in those 11 games, we could be the team that gets into it in form. The big thing for me is, and I said this today, if we do go up, we've got to spend massively. We've got to overhaul that whole squad, because there's probably maybe 2 or 3 players in that whole squad that are Premier League quality. And that's the big worry for me, because what I don't want is this up and down shenanigans all the time. Look at Burnley. Yeah. Burnley will stay up comfortably next season. I guarantee that.
Yeah, the thing also with our squad, though, is, as I said, is we have got the full 5 loan players, and they're all in and around the first team, and they will go. So if we don't go up there, that's shedding a lot of wages straight away. The 2 other players, realistically, I mean, you could say Imran Loser, but Imran Loser isn't on the great big, the largest bundle of cash, and he's probably a saleable asset, would be Sarr and Pedro. Pedro will go somewhere because he's a quality player, and Sarr will get a move. Somebody will blow 20 million on him, or 15 million maybe, or even if it's 12 million because he's in his last year, we will shift him off the books. Last year we had we did a special going through the accounts, and we are 138 million pounds in debt at that point, but about 70 million of that was to the owner. After then, because of course the nature of accounts, that went back to 2021. We brought the percentage of wages to the turnover ratio down. We obviously had got back to the Premiership, so this next kind of accounts that come out will be we've gone through the bust one, we'll have the boom, and then it's in 2 years' time that we're really going to start to panic, I imagine, if we don't get back up, as you say. But we shall see. You mentioned, though, sir, your holiday in Greece, and obviously you're hoping that you're going to get some wins. If we look at the table from the 28th of October.
Yeah, that was the week I was away.
That was it. It has been a horrendous experience for you since. Obviously. Well, I am going to ask where do you see those wins coming from? Because even we have had a bit of a shocker. But if we compare our last 15 games, you've had that. There's that one game which was in the win table against Preston, which was Critchley's first game in charge.
Yeah.
Some draws, an awful lot of defeats, and of course, old Ainsworth has come in for the last three defeats you've had. We've had 4 wins, we've had 6 draws, and 5 defeats in that time. Where do you see your wins coming from, and is there any feel good factor around Ainsworth? Because it doesn't look like there's been a bounce.
There's been no bounce. He is I wouldn't say a legend. He's not a legend. But he is very well thought of at QPR because he was a winger, and he played a game with a broken leg, bless him. I mean, when you've got players doing that for you, you hold them in high esteem. The problem that we've got is our players are not good enough. And I don't care what the forums at QPR say, our players are not good enough. And where is our wins going to come from? I reckon we'll nick a 1-0 win somewhere and maybe another one, and that will keep us up because there are 3 worse teams than us. And that is the only way we'll stay up. Our players are not good enough. You mentioned injuries. Every club in the division says we've got injuries. QPR are not. If I told you who's not playing on Saturday, you'd go, well, we've got 3 points here because Willock's not playing, Chair won't play, Dykes isn't playing. None of them are playing.
2 massive players there.
Yeah, our 2 best players even if they manage to get Chair on the pitch, he's not as effective as if he's not got Willock alongside him.
Yeah.
But even if he is fit, he's only going to be 70% fit. The defenders are so out of form. You mentioned Laird back when we played you at Vicarage Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's injured. Powell is injured. Dickey and the 2 centre-backs are out of form, badly out of form. And the midfield, I don't rate Johansson, the ex-Celtic player, and I think poor old Sam Field is the only decent player that someone like Watford or West Brom or Middlesbrough or Sheffield United will buy him because he's a good holding midfield player. He puts his foot in. He's managed to stay fit. We only got him from West Brom because he was injury prone and he couldn't get in the team for that reason. And we've managed to keep him fit, and he's a good player. You can't survive in the Championship with one half decent player. And for all this, blame the manager and everything, it is the players, and they need to be stronger mentally. They really do. I don't want to lay the blame on the players by saying, don't lay the mental health card, but they're not strong enough mentally. They should be strong enough to stand up and go before the game, we're not going to concede a goal today. We are not going to concede a goal today, and we'll do everything to stop the ball going past the lines. Don't let it get to the defenders. Let's win the ball in midfield and let's break quickly. No, you don't see it. There is no leader in the team. And I know that sounds bad. And if QPR fans watch this, I bet you they agree with me, but they're just too frustrated to accept the fact that our beloved club doesn't have the players that the media are making out we've got. Chair
This
is
sounds
not
very familiar to me. Does this sound familiar to you, Carl, Peter? This sounds very familiar.
I don't think we're speaking to a QPR fan. I think this is a Watford fan.
I'm nearly a Watford fan. I am very, very close to being.
Come on, come on, Richard. You know you want to be. We spoke to Preston last week, and they said, "Oh, we're all right in our final third. We're not bad in midfield, but we crumble when we get into the final third." And we went, "You're a Watford fan, aren't you?" And of course, needless to say, we played out a 0-0 because you had two teams that kind of, got near the 18-yard box and thought it was like some kind of total exclusion zone.
Do not scratch your eyes.
Well, let me tell you a secret about Preston. Did he mention what load of shit they're in financially?
No.
They are spending their ratio or payroll to revenue is 178% to their revenue, Preston, their salary. We are, QPR, 125% of revenue.
Richard, you can come back on again. I like a man who knows his numbers and his spreadsheets. Carl, Justin, take note. This is how you do podcasting.
No, bollocks to that. Are we saying that there's a few teams in the Championship over the next couple of years, excluding obviously Watford as well, that are in real big trouble?
I think I read 6 clubs have given their year's accounts out, QPR being one of them, Preston being another. I don't know who the others are, but I don't think Preston and QPR are unique to this. I think you'll find there's a lot of clubs that, because of COVID as well, they're all in a lot of trouble. I mean, I read also that apparently the transfer market for the Championships, the arse has fallen out of it. I must admit, the transfer windows, there wasn't that many stories of such and such has gone from Middlesbrough. Well,
there's an argument to suggest that the Championship in terms of quality is less, now over the next last couple of seasons, and that's probably walks hand in hand while we haven't seen those transfers for players like Eze going up to Palace. People look at the Sarr. Any team that's come to scout Sarr will go, Jesus Christ, I'm not sticking 30 million on him. I don't know. The Championship is a tough old league, and it's a long league. But I think quality wise, over the last couple of seasons, I definitely think it's dropped a little bit, and that's a worry for teams that are coming in, from the Premier League. You mentioned that a bit ago, Rich, that, you're going to have Southampton, I'm going to say, Southampton coming down with a load of money, real big squad that, they should be comfortable. They should bounce straight back up. And that's a worry for Watford, definitely.
Yeah. I've written down who I think will go, and I think it's 3 out of 4, Wigan, Blackpool, Huddersfield, Reading, and only Reading because they're about to get a points deduction. That's the only reason I'm saying Reading. And I don't think QPR, because we've got 39 points, and I think we'll get 2 more wins. Where from? I think it'll be lucky 1-0 wins. It'll probably be 1-0 on Saturday to us. You completely play us off the park, and we get a lucky penalty in the last minute or something.
I hope not, because I'm travelling down to West London. I'd really like to see us win, because I've had a lot of shit
travelling to West London. Where do you live, Carlos? Watford to QPR?
Pretty much West London.
Do not scratch your eyes.
One of the things we like to try to do is I like to try and guess who I think you would consider your star player to be. He has been mentioned, but he might not be fully fit. My guess would be Ilias Chair would be your star man were he fully fit. He hasn't scored a lot of goals, but then again, neither of you. But 7 assists put him right up there in terms of the creative player. It was definitely between him and Willock. Would you go for Chair over Willock, or which one?
Yeah, this season. Willock started on fire. I remember telling you guys, Willock's our number one, but
he was very good at our place. He was really good at our place.
He's a good player, but he's got problems with his hamstrings. Chair, I like Chair. I do like Chair. I'll be playing it down if I said I didn't like him. I think he's the best ball carrying player in the league. I think he brings the ball up the pitch very well. Dribbling. How many dribblers can you name in the Championship? He's good in the middle part of the pitch. He's good at bringing the ball away, and he doesn't lose it. But he's another one that when he gets in the last third of the pitch, it's hit or miss whether he makes the right decision. He might take too long to lay it off, or he might cross it. There might be a poor cross. He might have a shot and it's 50-50 whether it's going to be on target. He might score a screamer, but he just might hit a daisy cutter. But he's a good player. Again, he's the sort of player that probably end up at your club because, you're a level above us, really, if the truth be known, and with the players you've got. And Watford come in with 10 million. If we could get 10 million for Chair, I'd take that tomorrow. I really would. I don't think he's worth any more than that.
I'd pay that. I'd pay 10 million for him. I think he's a good. I think he's a player that has to play with somebody else. I think somebody else brings the best out of him.
Yeah,
but I would definitely have him at Watford. Yeah, 100%.
I think they'll look to sell him to, like I say, to avoid FFP. I think that's the one player that they'll probably sell in the summer. I don't know how long he's got left. I think he's got 1 or 2 years left on his contract. But you can't really let the players run it into the last year, can you? Because then they really have got control over it, and the clubs will lose out. And I don't think we can afford to. I think the club will say if we get a couple of wins, I think they'll be hawking him around if they're not already hawking him around.
Right, it's time to go to QPR 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 3 players on the screen. Good luck to listening to this on audio only. And I would like, I'd like Richard. You first of all. I would like to know of these 3. In what order would you put their QPR legacies? So first of all, you have to name one of them. First of all, could you name one of these players, please?
Oh my God!
What? I'll play for both clubs. Okay. What am I going in reverse order or just picking anybody?
You can go in reverse order, but just name one first of all, because normally Justin and Carl struggle at this stage.
Not tonight, I don't think.
No, I've got it tonight. I'm good.
I've got two small stories actually about Danny Shitu, and that is Tommy Smith, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy Smith. I loved Tommy Smith. He was only with us a short time.
Yeah.
But my missus fancies him, so. There you go.
I've got his number if you want it.
Tommy, well done, sir. Well done.
Danny Shitu, strangely, loved Danny Shitu. Loved Dan. I mean, he had the biggest thighs in the world, didn't he? I mean, he was
the biggest
huge.
everything in the world, I suspect.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean,
I thought this was a family podcast.
When I first started going out with my wife, I used to take her to Rangers every Saturday, bless her.
She stayed with you? Bloody hell.
She stayed with you? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Mental cruelty.
And there's a pub on the corner of on the Uxbridge Road with Loftus Road, Defectors World, that's it. And there were bouncers on the door to keep the away fans out. And we walked in. Well, we were trying to walk in there, just me and my wife. She's small, she's blonde, she's not going to cause any trouble, nor am I. I'm a lover, not a fighter. And the bouncer said, "Why'd you sell Shitu?" That was his question to me to get into the pub. And I thought, my wife turned around to him and said, "Yeah, why did we sell Shitu?" And that got us in. So I don't know why we sold. Did we sell Shitu to you?
Yeah,
I think you did.
Yeah,
You did, yeah.
Pretty sure you did.
£2 million. He was a good player for us. I liked him. So legacy.
Wardrobe at the back. Shitu.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Andre Gray. No, he's not a legend, is he? Andre Gray.
No, we're not talking about legends. We're talking about the level of his legacy. There you go. You see,
Very easy for me. This is very easy.
We may be unnecessarily picking on Andre Gray.
Danny Shitu, number 1, purely because he was part of the team that got us promoted under Warnock. I think he was, yeah. And he when he burst on the scene when we were in Division 1 with us, I remember thinking, wow, love Danny Shitu. And he was just a fun guy, really. Just a fun guy. Great defender, I thought, for that level. I think he got found out in the Prem, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit. I was at Aylesbury United. I was at Aylesbury United coaching when we had QPR come, and at the time I think I was just looking and dribbling at Paul Furlong, going, "I wish you were still with us." And suddenly the sun disappeared, and I kind of looked round, and I was in the shadow of Danny Shitu, which covered about 3/4 of the ground. It was like, fuck, you're like human but bigger.
Yeah.
It was a big.
How we got into a pair of football shorts is beyond me, because his legs and his arse, they were massive, weren't they? But I mean, he could defend. Yeah, he could defend. I liked him. So he's my number 1 out of those 3.
He was great with a ball over the top, but I think he, like you say, he got found out with pacey strikers. Anyone like Thierry Henry, anyone like that, ruined him.
Yeah,
no.
He had to have shorts. I'm sure this isn't apocryphal. He had to have shorts specially made because they just didn't make them in like extra large, and then the next step up is Shitu. I mean, what are you going to do?
I loved him. I thought he was great. And Tommy Smith, what a player. We got that goal at your place when we got promotion in 2000.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. Let's move on. That's excellent. Well done.
Loved
we liked Tommy Smith.
That was a brilliant day, wasn't it? Justin will remember that day.
I do remember it very well, Richard. Thank you.
And the other one, Andre Gray, he scored a couple of goals for us last year, but took the mickey, really. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. Where is he now? I don't even know where he is.
He's at Aris Thessalonica, because somewhere in Greece there's a bench that needs to be warmed.
Did you see that I bumped into one of their supporters at the game?
Yes.
I was like, that's madness. Yeah, Andre. Who's your star player? Andre Gray. Andre Gray. Oh god.
Really? Bloody hell, that's an indictment.
No, he was taking a piss. Phil Williams told him to tell me that on purpose. Yeah.
So you're going Shitu first, Tommy Smith second, and Andre Gray third.
Yeah, can I just throw a curveball in there, because out of those three, I'm really surprised. Certainly with you, Pete. Really, and I'm disappointed that you have not put Lee Cook up there.
Oh, Cookie. Well, you see, I love
Lee Cook.
Lee from Aylesbury.
From Aylesbury. He gave his signing on fee when he signed for Fulham to QPR because we were in such financial trouble. I've never forgotten that. And I think that, players don't get recognition for when they do things like that. And, that 250 grand or whatever it was that he gave back to the club. I mean, I'm not being funny. Would you give 250 grand back? I wouldn't.
Richard,
I'll give £2.50 back.
I'll be honest with you. The first three to make this list potentially were Lee Cook, Paul Furlong, and Steve Palmer. And then I went, well, I can either do that or we can take the piss out of Andre. Right, let's go for that. There you go. Well, people, you know where we're going to go next.
Do not scratch your eyes.
It's the completely rubbish DNSYE League. We have load of old shite on all throughout the season, Richard. You may have thought, well, there's not something I'm going to have to bother with again, but no.
That's your prediction, is it, Richard? 5-0.
No, it's not.
I think you should go with it, Richard.
Hold on. That's no, it's perfectly reasonable. Let's just quickly have a look at the form guide.
Yeah. I'm not going to go. Do you know what? I'm going to be really optimistic and say 0-0. That's my optimistic view.
Like it.
You're going for a 0-0. You're optimistic that Watford will carry on their fine form against Preston into the game on Saturday. Well, there we go. Carlos, you are sitting at the bottom of the league at the moment.
Yeah, I'm doing shit.
You're on 13 points.
I'm doing really shit in this shit prediction league.
Justin is on 17 points, despite being grumpy the entire time and going, oh, nobody lets me predict one. Anyway, so, Carlos, we're going to go to you before we go to the miserable scrote who's in charge. What do you think the game result is going to be now that we have Chris Wilder and we haven't got a fucking clue what formation or who will play?
I mean, there's no, if he plays two up top and with QPR's form at the moment, despite Gareth Ainsworth being there, I've got to be positive. I'm going to the game as well, so I've got to go for a Watford win. So I'm going to stick safe because we're still shit. So I'm going to go QPR 0, Watford 1.
So Justin, we inevitably turn to you and your large mic of disappointment. Yes. What do you think?
My large mark of disappointment. Having seen the home form there for QPR, it's not very good, is it? So
hold on. Let's just study that for a moment.
Please.
There's 19 games and a minus 24 goal difference for those last 19 games. That's fine.
That is amazing, actually, isn't it?
Richard, you come down to Watford and win 3-2. This is what you get back.
You know what? Do you still do your Twitter podcast or whatever?
Oh yeah, you came on it. Remember?
Well, I'll tell you what. If QPR win on Saturday,
give it the big.
I'm coming on, and I'm going to be shouting.
All right, Justin. Before you do your prediction, I'm just going to quickly So they lost 3-1 to Rotherham.
Yeah.
Last time they lost 3-1 to Blackburn before that. And before that, they lost 3-1 to Middlesbrough. And before that, they lost 3-0 to Sunderland.
Yeah. You're shipping them in there, aren't you, Rich?
So Justin says 1-1.
No.
That's what I reckon you'll do.
I'll go 2-0 Watford.
Yeah.
2-0.
2-0 Watford.
2-0 Watford, yeah. New manager bounce. New manager bounce. Pretty much full strength team without any injury worries. Yeah, let's go for 2-0 Watford. I'm going to hate myself for that at 5 o'clock on Saturday, but I'm going to go for 2-0 Watford, yeah.
Really hope QPR win.
Of course you do. You're a QPR fan, Richard. I would expect nothing more.
I don't know how much I can take. Honestly,
Yeah, you always say that, and then the season ticket renewal comes around, and you go, "Oh bloody hell, I better do it." It's just one of them things, isn't it? It's just one of them things.
Yeah. Oh well, there we go.
Well, there we go. So yeah, do join us, Richard. Win, lose or draw. Do join us on the space at the end. It was great to have you on last time. We often
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. You won't get too much dogs abuse unless you start giving it and then expect some. But
no, just give it and then just hang up.
Oh, you could do that as well. You could give it and then just sod off. Yeah,
that'd be brilliant.
How was it last time? What was it? Elton John, Jerry Halliwell, Chris Stark, your boys took a hell of a beating. It was something like that, I'm sure.
Probably. Yeah.
I genuinely think you'll win on Saturday. And if you don't, then you're not the team I thought you were. You should get a win comfortably on Saturday. Seriously, I don't see how QPR will win on Saturday. Seriously, I don't see any wins, and on Saturday playing a local derby, and you're thinking, how many fans are Watford going to bring? 2,000? How many tickets have we got?
Yeah, we've sold our allocation. We've sold, I believe, the upper tier and a bit of the lower tier as well.
Right.
So we'll bring there'll be a few of us down there.
So you'll make it noisy. Our players are mentally shot, so the minute you start shouting at them, boom, they'll fall over and give the ball to you. So don't worry about that. Just shout.
If you are about, guys, after the match, do listen into the Twitter Spaces where we'll be trying to hunt down Richard Honey in the event of a win and running away from him in the event of a loss. But there we go. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for coming on The Opposition View.
Do not scratch your eyes.